Bonjour, messieurs et dames. Merci beaucoup pour l'invitation aujourd'hui. J'ai essayé mon discours en français plusieurs fois, mais j'ai trouvé que mon français n'est pas si bon. Je pense que je vais parler en anglais. Désolé. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm so sorry. I have to speak in English. I've lost my French, and I've tried several times to do this speech in French, but my wife, who is Quebecois, said, no, that's going to be a disaster. Please try it either in English or Spanish. So I'm going to try it in English. Thank you so much for the invitation. I wish I were with you guys today in Haiti, but unfortunately the pandemic didn't allow us to be with you guys. Hopefully next year we can be together. And the first thing we understood was that the world was going to be completely different from our world. And different issues. The first one was globalization. Her world is going to be way more global than ours. Borders are going to disappear, especially digital borders. But you know, the flows of people, money, goods, services are going to grow dramatically in the next years, and she's going to live in a very, very globalized world, way more globalized than it is today. So, for example, today about 1 million people have international contacts in the social networks. 1 billion people. So basically that's the first step. So people in my hometown in the Colombian mountains, they already have contacts outside of Colombia, and that's the first step to join in that globalization. And then you see, of course, before the pandemic, many people traveling international. I'm sure that in a couple of years, this is going to go back to normal, and people are going to travel again, and people teleworking internationally massively. So the world is going to change dramatically because the borders are going to change. But what is most dramatic is the traffic, the data traffic internationally, that has grown 45 times in the last years, and it is going to keep growing. So what we trade the most today is not money or people or goods or services. It is internet traffic. That's what we trade the most, and it is amazing. The second trend we see is of course the decline in rural population and the growth in urban population. So we are moving from a very rural world to a very urban world, very fast, very fast. So my concern is, you know, if people are moving massively to cities, and that's a trend that perhaps is going to kind of slow down with the pandemic, but after the pandemic it's going to speed up again. Some people are going to small cities, but anyway, they are going to urban areas, because now with the teleworking, people want to be in smaller places, in smaller towns, but anyways, urban. But my concern is, you know, once people move to cities, how are they going to live? Where they are going to live? What kind of health services? What kind of education? Where are they going to be educated? And also what kind of jobs they are going to have? So there is going to be a lot of new things. The other trend we saw is that people are getting old massively. When I was 35 years old, we were 13 people per one elder a person in Colombia. When my daughter turns 35, there is going to be just 3 young people working per 1 elder. So the whole world, and especially Latin America, is going to be old. So we are going that direction big time. So and then the other trend we saw is technology. And we don't know what is going to happen with technology, but please pay attention to this video that explain a little bit what I expect it is going to happen in my daughter's life in the coming years. So humanity is going to change in the next 20 years more than it has changed in the whole history. This is amazing. This is amazing. So, taking this consideration with my wife, we thought, what kind of education we should give her, for what kind of jobs. And then it's like what is Emma going to do when she grows up? Is she going to work in manufacturing? I'm sure perhaps not, because manufacturing is being taken by robots. Very few people are going to work in manufacturing, and today we're seeing that. A lot of factories coming back to the US, from China especially, but not with the employees, with robots. And that's a trend, to manufacture cars or anything. Is my daughter going to work doing trading or commerce? I mean, you're living now, you're seeing today the trends in e-commerce. They are amazing. So when we knew that we were pregnant, I went to this big baby store outside of Washington, D.C. And because we wanted to buy a store. And then we didn't know which one. And the salesperson came to us saying, you should buy this one. And we understood that she was going to receive kind of commission. So we pulled out our cell phones and we checked a few of them, and we understood that the differences, and we chose the right one. And we thought, this is the one we're going to buy because this is the right one, because it falls very easy, and so on and so forth. But then my wife said, hey, but look at the price in Amazon, 40% cheaper. So we left the store. We didn't buy anything. We ordered it online. And what happens today, you're seeing it. Macy's currently has closed all the stores in the U.S. Babies R Us, when it closed down their business and came with a different business model. And e-commerce is a reality today everywhere in the world. And it is amazing how everything is changing, even the black market. Last year, a friend of mine, Jamie Bartlett, who wrote this book, The Dark Net. I don't know if you guys know what the dark net is, but it is a kind of parallel internet, and you need a special browser to navigate in that dark net. But I recommend this book because you can understand that you can trade anything, and anything is anything, any type of good. I mean, drugs, guns, whatever you want, you can find it there, and you can pay with Bitcoins. And it's very, very simple. And Jamie Bartlett came to Washington, D.C., and we had lunch, and he said, look, I know that Colombians really get upset when we talk about cocaine and drugs, because more than 350,000 Colombians have been killed in the war against the guerrilla and the drug lords. So we really get upset when we watch the Netflix series about Pablo Escobar, which is completely false. What they play there, and it is true. I, as a Colombian, I really get upset when people talk about cocaine and they think that we should blame the producers. No, we should blame the users, no, the consumers, not the producers. But anyways, he said, let me show you what we found in London. He was comparing the cocaine market online versus offline. Online in that dark net versus the offline, the traditional cocaine market on the streets. And he showed me how the benefit, he's a researcher in a university, and he found that the online market was very, very positive for the health system in the UK. And he showed me the online places where people buy that stuff, and it is amazing. It was like going to Amazon and ordering, and people leave comments and recipes and stuff like that. And he showed me how online trading, cocaine online trading, was better for the users and for the public health system, because people don't take risks of going to the street. Cocaine is more pure and stuff like that. But anyways, this story is just to tell you guys that everybody is going to be affected by this transformation of the economy. Everybody. Nobody escapes, not even illegal business. Everybody is going to be touched by the digital economy and transformed. And if we don't move fast, that is going to hit us. So we don't know if my daughter Emma is going to be an engineer like her grandparents. Both grandparents, grandfathers, both of them were engineers. And we saw that the construction, for example, the construction industry is pretty inefficient, but it is going to be way more efficient thanks to technology. And we're seeing that already in China when they built a 57-story building in just 19 days thanks to technology. And as you can see in this graph that we prepared with McKinsey, the productivity of the construction industry in Latin America is very, very, very poor. But it is going to be kind of boosted up thanks to technology, to a specific technology called BIM, Building Information Modeling. So construction is going to be completely different. We also, checked, perhaps what about is she going to like have a hairdressing shop or something? And so I found this robot, and I love it because it is. I guess with this robot you can have the same haircut, so you don't have to also go to the shop and deal with the waiting and dealing with the hairdresser that wants to be a psychologist. But anyways, and then everything's going to change again, even the sex also. And I guess you're going to be curious. If you're curious on how sex is going to change, please look up The Economist issue of a couple of years ago that just talked about that. The famous magazine, The Economist, has just one issue dedicated to this topic. So, is my daughter Emma going to be a banker? Is she going to be a banker? I personally work for a bank, but as well. But then, is she going to really have cash or not? Cash is likely going to disappear in the world. Why? Because it is very inefficient. Very, very inefficient. And we see countries like India, for example, that has very clear policies to reduce cash in circulation. And the social impact of that has been huge. Tax collection has grown a lot. And new companies in the fintech world, new startups, have been created providing new services. So reducing cash in the economy is a very, very positive thing for the economy, especially in our economies. Are banks going to disappear? I think not, but they are going to be transformed. Who's going to a bank branch in a few years? Emma, my daughter, will never go to a bank in her future. So every single profession that we know today is going to be changed. If you're curious about it, there is a study done by Oxford University, and you can just type up your profession and to see whether or not it is going to be replaced by technology, and it is likely going to be replaced. So the issue is, how are we gonna deal with employment, and how is Emma's generation going to deal with that? What kind of jobs she's going to have? How is going to how is she going to find a job? And look what happens today. Today, the main concern around the world with the pandemic is unemployment. Many people have lost their jobs. But in the new economy, there is plenty of new jobs, plenty of new jobs. But there is no people for those jobs because people are not prepared for those jobs. So we have to start preparing my daughter now for those new jobs. And let me go deep into what Haiti is doing. How is Haiti doing in this digital economy? And it is very hard to take a picture of the digital economy, but I'm going to have this first approach with different indexes. The first one is this index that shows a big gap between the leading countries and Haiti. And this index is called the Network Readiness Index, that was formerly published by the World Economic Forum, but this year it was published by the Portulans Institute. I am a board member of the Portulans Institute that published this report. And this shows how we are in terms of the digital infrastructure. And unfortunately, Haiti is not well positioned. It is a country with very, very, very low internet penetration. You guys all know that. And it is urgent to close that gap. It is urgent to invest in infrastructure, in digital infrastructure in the whole country. But then the second element is, once we are connected, how we use internet. And it is funny because in Latin America, before the pandemic, more than 85% of internet users were using internet only as an entertainment tool, not to be more productive. 85%. So having the technology in our hands is important, but not enough. We have to use it correctly. We have to use it to be more productive. And so we have to close that gap. The next gap, which is also huge for Haiti, is related to digital government or e-government. And some governments go faster than others, and we have to speed up the appropriation of technology in the government in Haiti. That's urgent. And the other one, which is the larger gap, is how businesses are being transformed. Business is critical because employment and jobs are there. So even in relative terms, the private sector is worse off than the public sector. It's worse off. And the largest gap that we will have, not only Haiti, but we will have, it is related with talent. And this is from a report from IMD, the Swiss school that I belong to as well. And so the single most important key success factor in the digital economy is talent. And we need different types of talent. We need coders, people that develop software, a lot of them. In Latin America, hundreds of thousands are needed in the whole world. The second type of talent is women.
And this is not about a gender equality thing. This is about skills. Women have a skill to transform things, to transform companies, to transform institutions that men don't have. So we need women working massively in this new economy. The third type of talent we need is that we need every single professional to have a little bit of computer engineer. So a doctor should understand the new technologies. A lawyer should understand what an algorithm is. Yes. An accountant should know about blockchain. A dentist should understand what big data or data analytics or artificial intelligence is and how it works.
So everybody has to understand these new tools and have to have the soft skills to operate in those environments. And the fourth type of talent, which is the one we lack the most in Latin America, is leadership. We need leaders to transform our economy, and I'm happy to be here in this ceremony because the award winners are part of those leaders that we need. We need more, hundreds of them, both for the private sector and for the public sector. We need leaders, so we need to create that talent. That's urgent. So Haiti has a lot of potential because it has the young people. And I guess most of those young people, they have dreams. And the dreams of them are not different from the dreams of many young people in the whole region. And when you ask young people, what is what you want to do with your professional career? You want to have your own business? Or do you want to have a job in a company? Or do you want your partner to pay your bills? Or you want to working for a non-profit or for a university or other? When we ask them that question, what they answer is, I want to have my own business. That's the answer we get from Latin America. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, I couldn't get the numbers for Haiti, but I think they are different from what we are seeing everywhere. And I'm very optimistic about these new generations that are growing in Haiti, that are growing in the whole Latin America and the Caribbean. Are new generations that have a different thought, that they want to transform their communities. They don't want to be employees, they want to run their own businesses using new ways of doing things. And I'm very optimistic that the future of all of us, the future of your sons, your daughters, your children, your nephews, the future of next generation is going to be brilliant. But we have to understand that future depends on what we do now. We are the ones called to transform our countries, not them. We are the ones that we have to do it now because humanity is going to change in the next 20 years more than it has changed in the whole history. So please go take action. Because the future of the kids of Haiti, your future, the future of your kids and your grandkids, that future is in your hands. The future is in your hands. Thank you so much.